As talented as Sylvia and the twins are in English, they are just as challenged by mathematics as you are by English. I truly don't understand it. All three of them are among the brightest students in the entire school. They perform very well in all of their other subjects, yet for some reason they simply can't seem to grasp mathematics. I remained silent, waiting for him to continue. If you wouldn't mind, Nick, he said at last, I'd like you to help Sylvia and the twins with their mathematics homework. You could tutor Sylvia in math while she helps you improve your English, and I hope you'll also be able to find some time to assist the twins as well. Despite what he had just told me, I found it difficult to believe that Sylvia or the twins could truly be that poor at mathematics. To me, math was simple, everything had to add up, quite literally. There were no hidden uncertainties, an answer was either right or wrong. Mathematics allowed no shades of grey. English, on the other hand, was an entirely different challenge. A single misplaced preposition could trip you up as effectively as a rope around your ankles. Verbs, adverbs, and the rest of them seemed to lie in wait for people like me, ready to turn an otherwise ordinary day into a frustrating one. I was still puzzling over the situation, but I had already made up my mind that I was going to get to the bottom of this small mystery. I'd be happy to help Sylvia, I said. She really helped me last night, and I'm sure I can find time to help the twins as well. I received a sharp look for that last remark, but there was nothing but genuine sincerity in my voice and written plainly on my face. Well, that's good. I'm sure they'll appreciate your efforts. All right then, you may go. With that, he dismissed me from both his class and his train of thought. I made my way quickly to my locker. Spare period or not, being caught in the hallways while classes were in session was still considered a serious offense and could easily earn you a detention. As I approached my locker, I noticed Anna nearby. She smiled and waved when she saw me. Hi, Nick, she greeted me in her soft, gentle voice. Hi, Anna, how is your day going? I asked, hoping she hadn't run into any difficulties. So far, so good, she replied. Thanks to you, I didn't have any trouble with my locker and managed to get to all my classes on time except for the first one. Even then, my hall pass kept me out of trouble. So yes, everything has gone well so far. She smiled at me, a truly wonderful smile, the kind you dream about having directed your way. I'm glad I could help, Anna. If you ever need assistance with anything, just let me know, I'll do whatever I can. I meant every word I said, and I was certain Anna could tell that I was being sincere. Thanks, Nick. You're a really good guy, and I'm sure Roy and Bill will become great friends to you, she replied warmly. I hope so. They seem like the kind of people it would be good to have as friends. She smiled as she closed her locker and snapped the lock shut. I've got to hurry, or I'll be late. See you later. And with that, she headed off down the hallway once again. I had stuffed all of my books into my locker and locked it just as Anna headed off to her next class. Always mindful of the bell, I made my way outside as quickly as I could and walked toward the picnic table, wondering if Terry would be there. Part of me hoped she was, while another part worried that she might not be. And if she was there, what kind of mood would she be in? Would she be upset that I hadn't joined her at lunchtime? I certainly hoped not. Despite her somewhat assertive personality, I had nothing but warm and positive feelings toward her. As I rounded the corner from the doorway toward the picnic table, I saw that Terry was indeed sitting there. I couldn't see her face at first. She had her back to me and was looking off in the other direction. I took a seat nearby, close enough to be companionable, but not so close as to intrude, and lit a cigarette. I noticed that although she was wearing much the same clothes as the day before, the jersey she had on was a size or two smaller. Instead of hanging loosely as it had yesterday, it now followed the lines of her figure, fitting her comfortably and flattering her in a quietly pleasing way. Hi, Terry. How's it going? I asked cautiously. Just great, thanks for asking, she replied. The sharp edge in her voice told me she was anything but pleased. I couldn't help but wonder just how much trouble I was actually in. Look, Terry, I'm really sorry I couldn't come out at lunchtime, I said quickly. I met some new friends and ended up talking with them the entire period. I was almost late for my next class. I made sure my apology sounded sincere because it was, and I could hear that honesty in my own voice. "Oh, I see," she said flatly. "And I suppose you helped Anna out too, since it was her first day of school and her locker just happens to be right next to yours." Hold on, I thought. I didn't do anything wrong with Anna today. Yes, I helped her, I replied, a hint of firmness creeping into my voice. And I'm not sorry that I did. Suddenly, she turned toward me and broke into a wide grin. "Ha. Got you, didn't I?" What are you talking about?" I stammered, completely caught off guard. I know Roy and Bill quite well, and I knew all about Anna before I ever met her. "There isn't much that happens among the people on our bus that I don't already know about," she continued. "Bill and Roy are good friends, and Anna is simply the sweetest person. I knew the three of you would look out for her and keep an eye out for anyone who might give her a hard time. Stop looking so surprised, I knew you wouldn't do anything inappropriate toward Anna. Aside from the fact that Roy would be extremely upset with you, I'm quite certain that you're not the kind of person who would ever take advantage of someone like her." She met my gaze and continued, "You were a perfect gentleman with me yesterday, and I never once felt uneasy or unsafe." I remained silent, listening carefully, while noting that she seemed far more comfortable and confident now, dressed in a jersey that fit her properly and suited her much better than before. She smiled a little more as she said, "And Sylvia tells me that when you were with her last night, you were, according to her, the very definition of a perfect gentleman." My jaw dropped and my mouth fell open in surprise. Terry and Sylvia had spoken to each other about me. About last night? What could they possibly have said? I had never imagined that the two of them moved within the same social circles, yet the evidence stood plainly before me, undeniable and as solid as a stone wall. "What on earth? You and Sylvia were talking about me?" I asked sharply. "What did you tell her?" "Nothing she didn't already know," she replied calmly. "And what she told me wasn't anything unexpected, given the circumstances." She smiled broadly as she spoke, an expression that was almost playful. Apparently, there had been quite a lot going on with these women that I hadn't known about. "Oh my goodness, what did she tell you?" I asked, alarmed. Unwanted images of Sylvia and the struggle surfaced in my mind. "Please tell me she didn't share everything." "I'm sorry, Nick, I can't say that," she replied. "She told me every detail, from the moment you arrived to the moment you left." Her smile stretched even wider than before, almost impossibly so. "Everything? Truly everything?" I asked, disbelief flooding my voice. I wasn't sure whether I should feel anxious or oddly proud. Sylvia had clearly been on cloud nine the night before and had looked exceptionally cheerful when I left her to hurry home. "Yes, absolutely everything," she replied without hesitation. Listening to her recount, the whole evening was surprisingly intense. She spoke at length about your adventures, as she called them, and clearly found the experience memorable. Terry had apparently been very affected by listening to Sylvia, and I wasn't sure whether that was a good thing or not. Would Terry feel jealous knowing how much Sylvia had enjoyed herself the night before? And for that matter, would Sylvia feel the same way, knowing that Terry had reached me first? My head spun with questions, yet there were no answers to be found. What, I wondered, had these two strikingly different yet equally captivating women said as they spoke about me? "So," I ventured, "you're not jealous of Sylvia?" "No, you silly boy, I'm not jealous." "Well, maybe just a little envious that she got some extra attention last night. Still, you were very kind to me yesterday, so I really can't complain." I breathed a quiet sigh of relief at that bit of news. Phew. That's good to hear. I really didn't want you to be upset with me. That would have been a real downer. I finished speaking with my best number one smile, hoping it made my feelings perfectly clear. "You're lucky I actually have things to do right now," she said with a teasing edge, "or you'd be in serious trouble." The look on her face and the unmistakable tone of her voice made it clear she would much rather not have been busy at all. My imagination immediately ran away with the idea of Terry pulling me close and refusing to let go. The thought didn't linger long before firmly planting itself in my mind. I knew from experience just how intoxicating her presence was, and I certainly wouldn't have objected to reliving it. Her smile, her laugh, and the way she spoke were just as captivating as ever, and remembering them was more than enough to distract me for the moment. Some temptations, after all, are best postponed, no matter how difficult that might be. I leaned in close and whispered in my most teasing voice, "I'm really sorry to hear that. I was honestly looking forward to cheering you up." I gave her a mischievous smile as I finished speaking.